what I like to do is kind of just get the backstory. We don't even have, right? We don't even have to get to Paralee Boyd, but a young girl growing up in Kalamazoo.
Oh, Calabama.
Come on, I'm gonna take you back.
Ooh, we're going to Calabama.
Let's go there.
Okay, I'm an open book. So what do you want to know?
Well, just how was it kind of growing up? What were the ingredients to the gumbo that is Dana White?
Wow, great question. So, growing up in Kalamazoo was hard. It was fun. It was, what's the word I want to use? It was fortunate, but it was tough. I was maybe one of 4 out of 200 or so kids in an all-white school in the 1980s. A lot of what we're seeing present day, I grew up with. So that, you know, I'm so comfortable with the double standard. I think I needed therapy to get me away from it. Right? I'm so comfortable with, right, it was so normal.
Yeah.
That was the downside of having a great education, growing up in an amazing environment, but the messages that were sent to me. So I think part of the gumbo that makes Dana Dana is not only my environment, but the combination of the parents I had in that environment. My parents told me, oh yeah, your environment is wrong. So this is what you're gonna get out of it. You're gonna get a great education, but don't believe anything they're saying about you. Don't believe what they're teaching you in school. That's not true.
Right.
Nope, he didn't do it to free the slaves. So Abraham Lincoln did it to shut some people up. Right. That's what I was taught young. Yeah. I wasn't taught that when I got to college. My father was an educator. My mother was a police officer. So my parents made very sure that they knew my environment and they knew what to teach me in order to not combat it, but just say, no, 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 not that way, this way. Then after that, my father passed. That's a huge part of who I am. My father died when I was 11. He and I were very close, and that's why I love seeing the relationship you have with your daughter.
Right, I remember you told me.
Yeah, my dad and I are friends. I was a smart kid, and he could talk to me, so he took me everywhere. Right? I remember dancing at parties to Rick James. I'm little, I'm at kneecaps. Right. And they're cheering me on. Get it, Dana, get it. Go, Dana, go. And I'm like, okay, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Right? I remember being like, okay. Sleeping in the car while he's driving, out late with my dad, because we were friends. I think what was really symbolic of our friendship was the conversations he and I had. Father and I would always talk. All the time. Saturday mornings over breakfast, he would cook breakfast. Potatoes, eggs, sausage, orange juice, milk tea, and we would coffee and talk for hours. And so then abruptly, July 5th, 1988, he went to work, didn't come home. He had a heart attack and died. So I was already older as a little kid, having to navigate my environment versus what I'm being taught. And then when you lose somebody that close to you, you grow up overnight. You're not 11 anymore, right? Mentally. That following year, I lost Paralee. Paralee talked to me too. She was my grandmother. We weren't friends, but she was my supporter. She was my friend. Not like, oh, it's my girl, because, you know, no,
don't
right?
play that.
Like, don't get it twisted, right?
That's right.
But she was a huge supporter of me. I don't think, nobody loves me like Paralee loved me. Nobody loves me like Paralee. Damon loved me, my father. Damon loved me. Right. And both Damon and Paralee would talk to me. They didn't talk to me like I was a kid. They talked to me, and there was always, no, don't tell them what we're telling you at home. Don't take this out of the house. Because most kids your age don't know this.
Exactly.
But we're talking to you. They talk to me about sex. Not birds and bees, man and woman, when it's right. It wasn't right because you were married. It was right because of who he is and who you are. I was taught that young,
100%,
right?
yeah.
They didn't give me fantasies. I wasn't the girl who dreamed about getting married. Why? You don't know who it is yet.
Exactly.
That's how I was taught. You don't know who he is yet. So why are you dreaming about a wedding that, you know, whatever?
And
that made sense to me, right? I was never taught to get married. I was taught to acquire and grow yourself. He'll come. Don't worry. You're a pretty girl. He'll come. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Okay. So me getting married was, me having kids, me getting married wasn't, oh, I got to do it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The pursuit of self is what you're here to do. So I graduated, again, I grew up in a very racially tumultuous environment. We had National Wigger Day in high school. Teachers and students participated. Oh yeah. My home was shot up. When my mother spoke out against racism, they shot up our house. The neo-Nazis of the KKK, they sent hate mail to the home telling us to get out. We were the only black family in the neighborhood. And one family moved out when we moved in because they wondered how this single black woman, my mother, Sheila Smith, how she could afford to live there, right, as a single black. And the rumors flew, right? She's sleeping with another cop, none of that was true. My father just left her well. So anyway, I had a lot of character building. I'm sure. Right. Then I went to Western Michigan University, and it was the opposite, right? Yes. I was a Bronco. Exactly. So now I'm excited. Yes. I get my first black teacher. Right. I'm going up to him like, "Hi, I'm Dana. It's nice to meet you." And they're like, "Have a seat." Exactly. Right? But on the flip side, I wasn't from Detroit. Yes. So I didn't qualify. Who are you? I see. You didn't go to Renaissance Cast King. Who are you? Right? Why are you walking around barefoot? Why do you play rugby? What are you doing? Right. What? Whoa. You're not in a sorority. Whoa. What you doing? Right. And so I was like, what?
It was a culture shock kind of in reverse.
Yeah, it was a culture shock in reverse. Right after literally right after the growing up in this racially insensitive envirment. Right. So then you get around black people and you think we're in this together, and they're like, no, you still different. Right. I am.
Right. Almost there.
So then I've not necessarily tried to find a place to fit in, but I've tried to find a place where I can flourish, right? And because when you're young, you still care what people think. You're like, oh my God, am I weird? Whatever. Right. So it wasn't until I graduated college and I moved to Detroit. Okay. And I was like, oh, the big city.
We welcome.
Yeah, no.
Not exactly.
No. It was a big small town.
Exactly.
And it was fun. Like initially I was like, oh, parties at Easter Market. Right? I was like, oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, no. It got old quick. Yes. So what I did, I was actually across the street at the Majestic, and I couldn't order what I wanted to on the menu for brunch. I had a job, but it wasn't what I went to college for. Right. And so I said, I've got to cast my net nationwide. And so I did, and I landed a job in New Jersey, New York, right at the border of New York, Union City, New Jersey. Okay. And from there, it grew, and I kept getting promoted, and New York is home for me. Okay. Talk about the gumbo, I would not be the woman I am today, sitting here with the privilege of doing this interview, if I had not lived in New York. I tell everybody, I was born and raised in Michigan. I grew up in New York City. Okay. And it's really what shaped me, in combination with my parents telling me I can do anything. Yes. My parents told me you can do anything, and they believe that. Well, what do you want to do? You can do anything. But then I lived in an environment that says, no, really, you really can do anything you want to do. Wow. The social constraints of the Midwest were not there. You don't have to get married. You don't have to have kids. You don't have to go to college. Why? You can be successful here, right? How many famous artists do I know that are famous in New York? Millionaires. Because they just sell their records locally. That's all they got to do is, population density. Yeah. The different cultures and different perspectives from people, it's really what fed me and gave me the confidence to open up this type of business. Yes. Taking the traditional salon and saying, no, we can revolutionize it. We can evolve the traditional salon. So yeah, Mama has lived, right? And the thing about me, and people told me, I don't carry it. My life has been far from been easy.
No doubt. Like,
please.
It kind of reminds me of the Will Smith quote where he just says the universe is like water. It wants to go around things. Yeah. Just decide, and so many of us are just in limbo. Yeah. With our decision. Yeah. So at what point, and I understand you've been poured into, right, by Paralee and
Damon, Sheila. Right? Oh my God.
So at what point is
Sean, oh my gosh. I'm thinking about all the people who
That's right.
I'm thinking Damon, Sheila, Paralee, Sean. Oh man, I mean, let's go. Like
I'm sure, yeah. And that's the thing. We don't really become who we are by chance.
Not at all.
There are ingredients, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So when does the idea for Paralee Boyd come about?
It comes about when you are, new to New York City, and everybody wants to go have brunch on Saturday, and you go, oh no, I can't, I got a hair appointment. And they're looking at you like, okay, well, can you meet us after? Oh no, I don't want to make any, you don't make any plans,
it's
right?
An all-day thing.
Because I might be here all day, and they're looking at me like,
right.
Well, what are you getting done? Oh, just a wash, blow dry. But you never know. So I go to a place a girlfriend recommended, and an hour and a half later, I'll never forget, I was on the corner of 7th and 43rd Street in Manhattan, and I was doing like this. Right? And I saw that it was an hour and a half. So I called them up, and they hadn't even, brunch wasn't until like 1. And I'm done, and it's, 11:30.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, me. And I remember I had time to kill.
Exactly.
Before they, came in from Harlem. I think some of them lived from Harlem at the time, or Jersey. And so I just went to Bryant Park.
Might do some shopping, right?
Yeah, I went to a PAX, coffee shop, eatery, and just kind of wrote my journal, read a little bit until it was time to catch the train and go have brunch. And I said, well, that was a fluke.
And there was the value. Okay.
Yeah, I said, oh, there's a fluke.
Yep.
It wasn't that busy, right? So I kept going back, and I'm always in and out,
right.
in and out, in and out. So I said, oh, it must just be that one.
Okay.
Let me go out by my job. I had a job in Long Island. Let me go to that one.
Right. Yeah, now it's time to experiment.
It was all of these. It was all the same, and I'm like, what is going on? So then in 2006, I'll never forget it. I was at a Dominican salon in not Union City. It's right outside of Hempstead. It's in Uniondale.
Okay.
I was in a. You may have to edit that, so it looks like I said it.
We'll do our research later.
Yeah, I was in a Dominican salon in Uniondale, Long Island, called Yodi's.
Okay.
And I looked left and I looked right, and I saw how many women. There were at least 20 to 30 women in there while I was there, and they were. So I cranking them out. And I'm looking at the staff because I'm a labor relations person. So I want to make sure the staff isn't.
Yeah, right.
Right? Make sure they're okay.
Early
right? Are
arthritis.
they water? Right? They weren't like that. They were.
Yeah.
And so they would shampoo you, condition you, rinse you out, roller set you, take you from under the dryer, wrap you, and send you on your way. They didn't even style you. They just wrap you. And I would go every Sunday to leave my hair wrapped because I had to get up and go to work the next morning, right? So I'm sitting around, and I text a friend of mine who lives here now, and I said, I think I know what I'm going to do. I think I know what I'm going to do. And they said, let's do it. So I started going to different salons and watching the process, what they were deliberate at versus what they weren't.
Exactly.
Are they being deliberate about this, or is it just happening? It was just happening. Right. Are they being deliberate about customer service? Are they getting any information back? Their gauge of success was how many people come back next week. Exactly. That was it, right? They weren't keeping track of numbers. They weren't deliberate about their processes. So that's when I said, you know what? I think if I'm deliberate about it and put the processes in place, it might be something that I could expand. Then I started going around the country through business travel. I worked in the Middle East. Is this a problem faced by women everywhere? I know I faced it in Detroit. I know I faced it in New York, and it was solved for in New York, but are they dealing with it in Pakistan? They are. Are they dealing with it in Abu Dhabi? They are. Are black women or women of color dealing with it in Iowa? They are. So I was in all these places, Las Vegas, not Vegas, like Reno. I was in Reno on a conference, Albuquerque on a conference, women of color sitting around a hair salon all day. So that's when I said, okay, it's something I might be able to do. The final straw, flew home, and my aunt had an important meeting, And my cousin had a solo and ensemble performance on her clarinet. And everything got moved up. So their appointment was 2 weeks out, and they needed it 1 week back so they can be ready for the meeting and be ready for the performance.
Right.
They were on the phone for 20 minutes negotiating with their stylist. Well, if you wash her and blow dry her, well, I'll bring her home and curl her. Well, if you wash her and I'll blow dry her, and then you can just regularly style me. And I'm looking 20 minutes in New York, I'm almost done. 20 minutes, I'm under the dryer, right? And I said, no, that did it. I knew in 2009 when that happened that I was going to leave my career and jump and open Paralee Boyd.
And I think the most valuable thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, about this business model is you give women back, or just you give a human back the most valuable thing that we have, and that's our time, right? So I guess, I'm sure that was the thing that kind of just clicked for you, like, yeah, this is it.
It clicked for me, but until I moved back here and opened, it didn't click how valuable it was, because my time and the women in New York's time, although equally important, the people in my circle weren't getting home to families. We were all young black Arabies, so we, you know. Right.
Getting to the.
We got to go to the next, you know, the dinner club meeting, or the, you know, the party here, or the play there, or, you know, whatever. That's what we were. I saw here, when you have a father, I need to speak to the owner. Hello? Right? You're like, hello?
Exactly.
I can't tell you what it's like to hear him tell me, not only were my wife and daughter in your salon at 9 o'clock this morning, but my daughter had a noon soccer match, and I had her on the soccer field and still had time to go home and get her cleats, which I forgot. And then after her soccer match, we all went out to eat. The fact that they had more family time, and they said, I don't know why you scheduled the soccer match for Saturday. She's getting her hair done. And the mom said, no, we'll be done. We'll be out. 'Cause she had been a customer of ours. He's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so he said, what are you doing over there? Because I have Saturday back with my wife and daughter. To have a mother tell me that her daughter has a partial scholarship to Purdue on the swim team because she was home on Tuesdays after practice to do her homework, and then she was home in time after meets on Saturday to study. You can't beat it with a stick.